players who's Tuchel going to pick in his England squad? Well, let's just take it. Let's look at the 24 squad. That was that. Who's the remaining there? They goes 3 keepers. They had Pickford, Henderson, Ramsdale. Well, I'd carry on the same. Then they had 8 defenders, and the 8 defenders, were small boys in there. Trippier, Shaw, Walker, Dunk, and Stones. I'd get rid of all of them, really, all of them, and also Gomez, who's not been playing well and who's been, injured. A lot of changes there. That really only leaves Concert and Gui out of the 8 players. Therefore, I'd have to bring Stones back in for his experience, and he's a class player, there's no doubt. All right, some idea about the age, too old. Well, Stones, I'd make an exception for him. Who would the other 5 be? Well, the other 5 to me would have to be Trent, because Trent, he can play midfield, you can play him in different places. I don't think he's a great right fullback. That's my honest opinion. But you've got to put him in that squad. I'd then play the 2 Newcastle boys, Livramento and Hall, and I'd play Skelly. I'd put Skelly there as well. He's coming on, give him experience. And I'd also, I know everyone's going to go, no. I'd put White in that squad there too, because he can play centre half. He's a centre half. That's what he came as. That's what he started his career as, and that gives you, 4 centre halves and 4 fullbacks. That covers it up. That's the 8. That's the 8 defenders in midfield. That's where you're going to have your problems. Before you had Gallagher, Manu, Rice, Walton, Eze, Palmer, Foden, Bellingham. You can't really change many of them. I've already put Trent in as a defender, so that leaves an opening. So I'd carry on picking Gallagher because he's playing brilliantly overseas. Rice, Walton, who's just come back, brilliant. Bellingham, Foden, Palmer. You can't leave out. There were 9 midfield players. So who would I bring in? 3. I've got to bring in 3. Eze was one of them. Yeah, I'd let him. He's playing really well. I'm afraid, Manu, you've not been playing regularly. You were one of the players. I'd drop you. You're not playing well either. And then I'm not quite sure who I'd go for. I think I'd let Curtis Jones. I'd let Curtis Jones come. Curtis Jones been playing brilliant. I've got one more, and that's either going to be Maddison, Rodgers, or Gibbs White. Well, Maddison is, he flatters to deceive. I don't think he's good enough at international level. I don't. So it has to be Gibbs White or Rodgers. I actually prefer Rodgers, but I think Gibbs White has played, so has Rodgers. I think for the moment, I'd stick with Gibbs White and just see how he fares at international football. Then up front, when you look at up front, we had 6 players up front because you've got to get to 26. You had, Gordon, Bowen, Saka, Kane, Tony, Watkins. They were the 6. Saka's injured, he can't play. Tony we can now forget about.